Byron Buxton has a 9-game hitting streak going against the Red Sox. He's reached base safely in his last 14 against Boston. And he will lead things off against Crochet. And Buxton fouls the first fastball he sees back at 96. Molly, what do you make of Byron's start so far this season, hitting just 182, 14 games in?
He's never really been a fast starter, if you will, and I think the poor weather in the last homestand, there's a lot of factors. But I think he'll heat up over time.
Rafaela comes in, and one center fielder finds his counterpart, and Buxton flies out, so one away. Austin Martin coming up, but how about the rest of the Red Sox defense tonight here, Molly?
Well, a very athletic outfield with Jaron Duran in left field, Ceddanne Rafaela in center, Wilyer Abreu in right around the infield. Caleb Durbin, as you mentioned, coming over from Milwaukee at third. Trevor Story, the veteran, at short. Marcelo Meyer at second base, and Wilson Contreras over there at first. Behind the plate will be Carlos Narvaez.
Pulled fair down the left field line for Austin Martin on his way to second base, and now Duran drops the ball. And no play at second, so Martin ready to go right away, coming off a good series in Toronto, having a great season, and he's at second base here in a scoreless first inning.
You know, we've talked a lot about the offense over the last week and some of the guys that came through with the big hits in Toronto. Martin continues to do what he does against left-handed pitching. He went 3 for 6 up there in Toronto with 3 walks. So getting on base and setting the table for the guys coming up behind him.
Second double this season, and now Luke Keyshaw, 3 for 11 against the Blue Jays, hitting .213 to start, and he chops the first pitch foul down the left field line. Perk, what do you make about the Twins being aggressive early on here against Crochet?
Well, I think that was something I was going to ask Molly, and with the fastball usage that Crochet has, they have the scouting report on him. They know that he's going to go to that sweeper along with those fastballs with 2 strikes. So is it better to try to get him before you get too deep into a count?
For a hard thrower, he's got command. He's only at 4 walks early in the season through, what's he got, 17 innings. So I would be aggressive, but if as a hitter, Perk, we talked about before, you want to try to own something. You know, you can't look for all his pitches and hope to hit them. Just try to own something early. You get the 2 strikes, obviously you got to fight. I would try to stay inside the ball as a right-handed hitter, give yourself a better chance.
Gets away from Narvaez, and Martin will advance down to third base. And we'll see if the Red Sox bring the infield in with a runner at third and 1 out.
Cutter? He just yanked a cutter?
Yeah. Narvaez actually not a very good effort keeping that ball in front. Twins will take advantage.
Red Sox indeed have the infield in. Keyshaw waits, and the 2-1 pitch to third, and that's fair. Snuck inside the left field line. Martin scores, and Keyshaw will stop at second base. Another quick start. It is 1-0 Twins, 3 batters in.
Well, we talked about up in Toronto, Twins capitalizing on defensive mistakes. If the infield's not playing in there, that ball probably isn't going to sneak by Durbin over there at third. Another sweeper that we pulled down the left field line for an extra base hit.
And that's the difference of being behind in the count and being ahead in the count. A 2-1 sweeper, he's got to try to get that close enough to the zone to get a swing. If that's 1-2, that's probably in the dirt trying to get that to the back foot, but he's got to come into the zone, and Keyshaw got a little room under the glove and inside the third baseline.
Now Ryan Jeffers batting. And a fastball at 96 for strike 1. Let's take a look at our DirecTV new era numbers here on Ryan Jeffers, and hard hit contact is up, drawing more walks. And expected slug, Perk, and that just assesses the quality of contact that the batter is making. And Jeffers, some bad luck this season, better luck this year.
And I think that's the one thing that these guys focus on is you try to hit the ball hard. That's the one thing that you can somewhat try to control and go up there with a plan. And I know that Jeffers is one of those guys. He's going to look at those numbers, and he's going to know expected batting average. He's going to know his expected slug, and that's going to tell him, kind of guide him, if he's on the right path or not. Do I need to make an adjustment? Maybe not, because of the quality of contact that I've had to this point is got me where I want to be.
The Twins as a team during this run the last 7 games, they have been fantastic batting with runners in scoring position as a team, hitting .315 the last week. And we see Keyshaw add 2 of those numbers, and we'll see if Jeffers can do the same here, up by 1 early.
And you know, those are the kind of things that they feed off each other. You know, once it kind of gets going in that direction, kind of takes the pressure off. We saw a lot of long innings up in Toronto.
With 2 strikes, Molly, have you seen Ryan Jeffers, if the pitch is there, try to go the other way? And I feel like that's where Jeffers has gone often when the count isn't always in his favor.
Well, I think he's learned how to use that right side of the field, particularly with 2 strikes. You know, if you're thinking about staying inside the ball that we talked about, it allows you the chance to see the pitch a little bit longer, maybe keep the ball in the zone. And yes, you might have to fight off some fastballs, especially against a guy like Crochet, but give yourself a chance.
Chokes up just a little bit as he waits for the 2-2, but first Crochet keeps tabs of Keyshaw.
And then does that help guard against a changeup that you might see, or that sweeper if he tries to go back foot, if you're giving yourself a little bit more time on the fastball to not swing over the top of something slower?
Sure, it's just fractions of seconds, but sometimes that can make a difference. You know, I always think about a guy throwing 97 or 94. You know, how much different is the distance between when that ball gets into the zone. But even if it's marginal, it's something that you can use to your advantage one way or another, especially if you trust your hands and you can stay back and trust that recognition phase.
8th pitch coming up. Crochet to Jeffers, with Keyshaw taking off for third base, and Jeffers lines it to left field, and that is a fair ball. Keyshaw scores, and Jeffers hangs out at first base, and the Twins have a 2-0 lead. 3 consecutive hits.
And fighting off pitches, following off pitches, you're gonna get the timing down a little bit better, right? And then the other thing that's gonna happen is you're gonna end up getting a mistake, and he got a cutter up there. He didn't hit it super hard, he hit it in the right place, but he worked to the point where he got a ball up in the zone that he could get lumber to.
Yeah, and we just talked about the fact sometimes you're gonna get jammed with 2 strikes if you're really trying to use the whole field, but he was able to muscle that cutter out there, and we gotta mention the jump that Keyshaw had there attempting to steal third base. He was trying to measure up Crochet from the moment he got out there after his double.
So 2-0 Twins, still just 1 out, and now Josh Bell DHing tonight as Crochet misses badly outside. A sinker at 95. Crochet's ground ball numbers so far are down this season. Very small sample, 3+ starts now in to his 2026 campaign. 1-1 on Bell.
Ground ball rate down from just under 50% last year to just over 42% this year. The other one that stuck out to me is the first pitch strike. He was 63, almost 64% last year. He's under 50% first pitch strikes this year.
What also stood out to Perk, and we're talking about a big strikeout pitcher with Crochet, again small sample, but swing and miss is not happening in the zone as much. Chase is up though. We saw Bell there not expand. Stays back again. So what Crochet has done this season, he's forced hitters to expand at the plate. The Twins so far haven't done that. OPS over 920 for Bell, ahead 3-1. He swings and hits it high to left, but in the ballpark for Jarren Duran. Right near the warning track, pulls it down for out number 2. Jeffers heads back to first. Speaking of the Twins and how disciplined they have been, you see the major league average, teams are chasing almost 30% of the time. The Twins are well below that, Molly. Those are good numbers here, 16 games into the season.
Yeah, really good numbers. You know, I've just got to know Keith Beauregard a little bit this year. I know he stresses those type of things. They work at it. And again, once you gain some confidence facing all these lefties, those numbers are going to stay on the right side of the ledger that you want them to be.
Victor Caratini at first base today. No homers and 5 knocked in. As Crochet misses low. 2 balls and no strikes. In terms of ABS challenges, by the way, the Red Sox, they have not graded out very well in that regard. The Red Sox have challenged the fewest pitches of any team in the game. Just 16 total challenges so far this season. And when they have challenged, Perk, they haven't been very good. Only 7 successful challenges so far this year.
You got to find the happy medium between being smart about it, but also recognizing moments where it's worth taking the chance. Because challenges left on the table are challenges that you don't have an opportunity to win. And so you don't want to be risk averse to challenges just to try to save them for a later point in the game that might not happen. And I think that's something the Twins have done. We've seen them be aggressive early in games with challenges. And when the situation presents itself, go ahead and see what happens. See if you're right with your challenge. And then if you do lose one early, maybe try to save that one for later, but you still have to use them. If you don't use them, you don't get to take them to the next game.
Ball 4 inside, and the pitch count for Crochet continuing to climb. So a 2-out walk. And here comes Matt Wallner, the lone lefty, in the lineup here tonight for the Twins. But this has been the norm, right, Molly? When the Twins have seen a lefty, this guy is in there more times than not.
Yeah, primarily he's been the guy facing these lefties as far as left-handed hitters is concerned. Although Larnach took advantage of his start the other day, hitting that home run. But Perk, I think your point is right on. I haven't seen other games, obviously, but to think that you're only averaging about 1 challenge a game, can't take them with you.
Well, and I compare it to stolen base percentage. If you're not stealing enough bases, you might be very successful as an overall team percentage. It mostly means that you're not stealing enough. You're not taking enough risk.
And Wallner, 95 inside. Crochet has now hit 4 batters this season. That leads the league. And Wallner got hit. This looked like a rib shot, and it was. 95 in. And Rocco Baldelli used to joke about Matt Wallner that he's got dinosaur bones. This one had to hurt. Let's listen in.
There's only one guy sitting up here that knows what that might feel like.
I know, it's not fun. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That had a terrible sound. And, you know, I can relate. I did break 2 ribs on a fastball, or someone broke 2 of my ribs one time on a fastball. And I remember I was playing for the Twins, and TK asked me how I was doing. I thought I was fine until I went up there the next at bat and took 1 swing, and okay, that's enough.
Well, Matt Wallner will stay in. That's a good sign. And the Twins in a familiar spot once again with the bases loaded. And you see the numbers for Crochet this season. The average 4-seam velo is up there. But here is the red-hot Brooks Lee. He's hit safely in his last 4, 3 on. And takes a good cut at a cutter, 0-1.
This is one of those moments you were talking about in the open, Molly. The big hit, that two-out hit, the backbreaker. And I thought the other night Trevor Larnach was that guy. He hit that 3-run home run. Twins already had a couple of runners in that inning. They had 2 outs, 2 guys on, and Trevor Larnach came up with that huge swing that kind of took the air.
It really did.
Out of the Rogers Center.
And, you know, even you just want to have a good at-bat here. You can't guarantee the outcome. It's already been a stressful inning for Crochet. Good tone setter for this game.
Ground ball up the middle, and a diving stop made by Story. Shovels off mark at second base. 1 run scores. Heading home is Caratini. He scores standing. And the Twins add on and now have a 4-0 lead.
Well, there you go, Perk. Wasn't hit particularly sharply up the middle, but put it in play for Story to go a long way up the middle. And that's just an awkward flip that he tried to make backhanded.
Little desperation.
Should have held on to that ball, but Twins had a run with good base running on the backside.
And for Brooksy, you know things can turn around a little bit. And you're feeling it at the plate when you hit a ball like that, but you hit it in the exact right spot.
So credit Lee with 1 RBI. The 2nd run scores on the Story error. And the Twins have forced Crochet to throw 30 first-inning pitches, have an early 4-0 lead. And Ryan Kreidler making his home debut as a Twin. His 2nd start. Popped up right side. Contreras over near the sidewall, has a play. And the inning ends. But the red-hot Twins strike again. They bring 9 to the plate and put up 4 early.
it's not just one guy getting it done. There's a whole slew of players who are finding ways to contribute. Right now, the Twins have 5 different pitchers with at least 1 save, and they have 9 different hitters with at least 5 RBI. Both of those are tied for the most in baseball. They have 9 batters with 8+ hits and 9 with at least 1 home run, and both of those are in the top 3 across the league. Josh Bell says not only does that breed confidence, but it makes baseball really fun, even when you're on the bench. He said it's not like you're sitting there wondering, are we going to be able to get this done? What's going to happen here? No, it's all right. I know that guy. He's a dog. I know we're going to get it done. He said it's been a really fun stretch of baseball, and he said this is exactly what he expected from this group going back to the start of spring training, guys.
Roger, thanks. Yeah, Josh Bell off to a great start. Certainly one of the many leaders on this team. Martin, then Keyshaw. Here in the second, the 1-2 to Byron. And he tracks the sweeper low. Byron, 1 hit lifetime against Crochet. That hit was a home run. 2-2. Up the middle and into center field. So no Buxton now with a 10-game hitting streak against the Red Sox. He's reached base safely in the last 15 against Boston. And the Twins have elite speed on, looking to build on this 4-0 lead.
Yeah, nice job by Buck taking the previous pitch. Sets him up for a fastball away. Just gets enough of it to poke it into center field. He had ideas about maybe stretching that into a double. I think wisely held up.
Austin Martin, first pitch ready and double down the left field line. Shows bunt and punches it foul. Now we've seen Austin try and do this a few times. Molly, is he on his own at this point, trying to bunt here?
He is on his own. They might flash a sign now and then that, hey, if you see something you like as far as defensive positioning, maybe it might not be a bad time to try to bunt for a base hit. But that's primarily on his own. And that's his game, right? I mean, we've seen not a lot of power from him yet, but just really good at bats, getting his hits, taking his walks, moving runners.
Seeing just under 5 pitches per plate appearance. Shows bunt again, lays it down third base line, but foul.
I think the first bunt attempt he was trying to push. And I thought he would do the same thing there. I was watching Crochet. He doesn't fall off the mound as much as you'd think with the kind of funky delivery he has. But a push bunt against the lefty to try to get him to stumble a little bit, you got to run over, field that ball toward first base. It's a tougher play to make.
Almost all left-handers will give you some room in that little triangle over there on the right side between first, second, and the pitcher. Just trying to be a little bit too fine with that second attempt down the line. And Story was, excuse me, not Story, Durbin was back deep enough where if he would have kept that fair, I think he would have had a hit to the third base side also.
Buxton leads. He stays put, and the 1-2 pitch, and Martin did not chase down low, but mentioned that Martin is seeing almost 5 pitches per plate appearance. Exactly, it's 4.57. That's the 5th most of any batter in the game right now per plate appearance. And this will be pitch number 5 this at bat, and we'll see a 6th.
Yeah, and you know the reason that he's seen a lot of pitches, at least one of them, Corey, is that he's one of those guys you talk about that he is willing to see the ball a long time, maybe not get off his A swing very often, but it really helps him make sure that the ball stays in the zone primarily.
Buxton runs. The pitch is ball 4. And so Buxton is at second, and Martin draws a walk. That's now 11 walks to 6 strikeouts. And again, the Twins have 2 on. So, Perk, going back to what we said at the top of the show, Twins have seen quite a few lefties and lately having plenty of success.
They turned the corner against Skubal because the first, I guess it'd be 5 that they saw. Is this number 10 tonight?
This is 10 of 17. 10 of 18. Yeah, 10 of 17.
The first 5 guys they faced struggled a little bit more, and they figured it out against Skubal. They put up a big inning, good game against him, and then that continued putting up some big numbers against Valdez, and it hasn't stopped. They got to Corbin, they got to Lauer, and they've got Garrett Crochet on the ropes right now.
Our drone Delta Cam. Twins hoping to add to a 4-0 lead. Have 2 on, nobody out. Luke Keyshaw, RBI double back in the first. And 2 balls and no strikes. How about this stat on Garrett Crochet? Entering his 4th start of the season tonight. His prior 3, second time he faced a lineup, he allowed 1 hit total. 3 starts. Second time he faced the lineup in those starts, allowed 1 hit. The second time against those lineups. Buxton has matched that already. And now Martin drawing a walk, and Keyshaw sitting pretty 3-0. Green light, right, Molly?
Yeah, I think that's an amazing stat. You know, I don't know how they come up with some of those things, but we're about to reverse that trend here significantly, I hope.
And Crochet's 3-0 pitch, not close.
You know, Perk, you talk about having him on the ropes here. I mean, my goodness. 45, 46 pitches and only recorded 3 outs so far.
Well, and when you're on the mound in a situation like this, we kind of saw it with Taj yesterday, and he was able to manage it where you don't really know where the ball is going. But with Crochet here, there's also been some contact that hasn't been great, but it's found holes. And so you feel like, all right, I can't hit my spots. I need to put the ball in the strike zone, but when I put the ball in the strike zone, they're turning into base hits. And so you kind of just continue to spiral down that path of what's the solution. And so then you might try a little bit harder, then you start missing more, and that's where the 2 walks to Martin and Keyshaw come in.
Did catch the corner. Good no challenge there by Jeffers, and a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Ryan, this is only his 2nd plate appearance with the bases loaded this year. This one did come back and caught the edge. Hard shot, left field, base hit. Buxton scores. Martin rounding 3rd. He'll be held. Anthony has struggled with his throwing this year, but that's Duran in left with Anthony DHing. It's an RBI single from Jeffers, his 2nd RBI tonight. It's now 5-0 and still nobody out.
Well, what'd you say? Opposing teams only had 1 hit off him
the Twins
second time
have
through.
already 2 here in the 2nd inning tonight.
Yeah, just capitalizing on a little bit of control issues. Somewhat surprisingly, he only had 4 walks coming in. He's got 3 here tonight already.
Now Josh Bell with a blast, high and deep to right center field. This one back towards the wall, and it's off the wall. 1 run scores. Coming home and scoring is Keyshaw. Jeffers to 3rd. The Twins are crushing Garrett Crochet here tonight. It is now 7-0 here at Target Field.
Well, just the parade continuing around the bases here. This is fun to watch. You know, we saw a lot of balls pulled into that left side early on in the game, the 1st inning. Crochet tries to go away with the 2-seamer there, and Bell's all over it.
Josh Bell, RBIs 13 and 14, his 5th double. Infield in for Victor Caratini. A swing and a drive. Left field and deep. Back it goes, and that is way out of here. 3-run homer from Victor Caratini. It is 10-0 at Target Field.
Off the facing of the 3rd deck.
Yeah. I think that ERA is going to take a little bump here, Perk.
Oh, boy.
The boys are fired up, and rightfully so. They are hitting everything that Crochet is throwing up there. Doesn't matter, cutter, sweeper, sinker.
And still nobody out as Wallner, he wanted in.
Yeah, I think that was maybe more the sweeper than the cutter. I couldn't quite tell. Whoa.
Shattered bat to 1st. Contreras finds Crochet to the bag, and there is out number 1.
It's a 1st pitch cutter to Caratini, and this is a swing from a guy that's got to be sitting on something in. To drop the head like that, down and in.
You know, sometimes that cutter, if it doesn't get in far enough, it's a really good pitch to hit. We saw Jeffers off of Corbin hit that cutter the other night for a 3-run homer.
423 feet. Brooks Lee pokes it to right. And Abreu over. And he'll make the play, and there are 2 down. The Twins brought 9 to the plate in the 1st, and now Ryan Kreidler will be the 9th Twin to bat here in the 2nd. And the Red Sox bullpen is now starting to move here a little bit. The Twins have absolutely ambushed Garrett Crochet and the Red Sox here tonight, and they're not done. Ryan Kreidler, welcome to Twins territory. He hit the facing of the third deck as well. His third Major League home run. It is 11-0. It is batting practice at Target Field tonight.
Molly, we're never going to let you out of the booth.
I don't know, man. I tell you, they've been averaging 6 runs for the last week. They're going to bump that up here tonight. And they have sent Garrett Crochet to the shower.
Garrett Crochet retires only 5 batters tonight. The Twins have scored 11, and we're still in the second inning. Crochet departs. Red Sox bullpen going to work, looking good here at Target Field.